Ru allies turn swords against each other. It is reported that senior government and ZANU-PF officials were booted out in office in recent months for their parts in a plot to unseat President Robert Mugabe have turned against each other, trading accusations on who is to blame on their demise. Last week, ex-Vice President Mujuru, 7 ministers and a deputy minister were relieved of their duties in connection with the issue. Mujuru fired is a headline in the Newsday of 10 December, where it is reported that sacked Vice President Joyce Mujuru said it is too early for her to decide her next move, but vowed to remain in ZANU-PF because it is the only political party she has ever known. This comes after Mujuru and 8 other ministers were relieved of their duties after they were allegedly involved in a plot to assassinate President Robert Mugabe. The same edition of the Sunday Mail has a headline, Vice President Poko in car crash, where it is reported that newly appointed Vice President Pelekezela Poko escaped unharmed after his official Mercedes-Benz crashed into a truck along Enterprise Road in Harare. It is reported that the accident occurred after the driver of a T-35 truck carrying material stopped abruptly in front of Vice President Poko's motorcade. The Financial Gazette of 11 to 17 December has a headline, Mugabe unveils heir, where it is reported that President Mugabe unveiled a new Politburo that elevated a long-time confidante Emmerson Mnangagwa to the position of co-vice president. The story reports that the move came after he had dismantled the function that was led by the former vice president Joyce Mujuru. The Herald of 15 December is a headline, ZANU-PF holds suspensions, where it is reported that ZANU-PF has ordered its 10 provinces not to suspend officials and advised that only structures that existed at the time of the party's 6th National People's Congress will be recognized. The announcement came as the ZANU-PF Manicaland Provincial Coordinating Committee adopted a motion imposing 5-year suspension of all party officials with votes of no confidence passed on them. President swears in vice presidents, ministers, where it is reported that President Mugabe sworn in the new vice presidents, Emmerson Mnangagwa and Pelekezela Poko, 8 ministers and a deputy minister, with the appointees pledging to serve the nation and successfully implementing government programs. It is reported that the vice presidents and the new ministers were sworn in and took their oaths of loyalty before President Mugabe at a ceremony attended by the First Lady, Dr. Grace Mugabe, their families, several cabinet ministers, and also ZANU-PF supporters. The H Metro of 15 December has a headline, Cheating Wife Pays for Sex, where it is reported that a Kambuzuma man last week chased his wife out of their matrimonial home after discovering in WhatsApp conversations that she was paying another man for sex and sending him photographs of private parts. Faith Mutema's illicit affair with Tonderai was discovered by the former husband's identities as Patrick after going through a mobile phone. This is Media Watch. We'll be back after this short break.
Are you an independent producer? A content provider maybe? If your answer is yes, and you have an idea you'd like to develop, then this is your opportunity to showcase your talent. ZBC is inviting you to submit your concepts and content for television in the following areas: reality shows, game shows, talk shows, drama series, children's programming, youth, adults, young adults, and magazine shows. The concept should include the following: title of concept, general program, target audience, synopsis, treatment, and contact details. You can submit your concept to ZBC Pocket Hill, Harare, or Montreal Studios, Bulawayo, or alternatively send via our email platform commissioning@zbc.co.zw. For all inquiries, call Jessina Kuana on 0772 653 179, Solomon Kabasa on 0777 441 839, our Harare number 498637, or Bulawayo number 460348, and talk to Nkosana Buma on 0772 919 003.
Well, thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Media Watch. Remember, if you'd like to get in touch with us, 498-656 or 498-603 for any views and comments. Now joining us in the studio to talk about the recent appointment of the two vice presidents as well as the cabinet minister and how the media covered these events. We are now joined in the studio by media and political analyst Dr. Tafataona Mahoso. Dr. Mahoso, thank you so much for joining us on Media Watch.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a good day.
Now, Doctor, your analysis of the media coverage, let's look at it in the run-up to as well as after the ZANU-PF Congress. What's your comment?
My comment is that the media very often tend to focus on events and individuals, and they don't understand the significance of the process which produces those events and those individuals. What impresses me about what happened at the ZANU-PF Congress is the originality and genius of political analysis of real situations. You have to realize that what emerged at the ZANU-PF Congress is a process which is based on the cell, and the base, the cell, the district, and the province. And if you read Sunday Mail 2 weeks ago, they were even talking about the president having been making meticulous observations of the political process throughout the country since 2006, and that he then arrived at the decisions which he then unfolded at Congress. And even all this discussion of factionalism and who had done what, it was based on meticulous observations of real events, real conduct by real players throughout the country. Now, when you then contrast that with what is happening in other sectors by people who claim to be objective and scientific, including journalists, you realize that the politicians this time were more scientific than the scientists. I can talk to you, for instance, if you look at our fiscal policy, if you look at our monetary policy, if you look at our industrial policy, and even when people discuss Zim asset, the people from finance, from banking, from industry tend to emphasize external factors. They are always talking about special economic zones, FDI, the debt burden, but they have not produced a cell by cell, district by district, province by province of analysis of the real Zimbabwe economy to the extent that the politicians produced. If you look, you heard what Advocate Budenda reported. He was talking about real events by real players in real places. And when you listen to the people from finance and the other sectors, they are talking conventions, theories, and external shocks on the economy, but there is no convincing analysis of what the real Zimbabwe economy is and where it is. And my question is, are people assuming that those cells, those districts, those provinces don't contain a real economy.
So, in as far as the media now, so you're saying the
And
media,
the media are missing that.
the media is missing that?
Yes.
Why do you say that, doctor?
I have not seen them challenging people to say RBZ governor or minister of finance or minister of industry. Why don't you have an account of what's happening throughout the country, similar to the account that Vamudenda gave us, similar to the account that the president gave us about what is happening throughout the country? Because those Congress decisions were based on real events, real conduct by real players in real places within Zimbabwe.
Now, if we...
That's originality.
That's originality.
And genius.
Let's look at ZANU-PF.
Yeah.
Would you say the media played a part to highlight developments in ZANU-PF?
Yes, once the politicians acted, the media were able to capture some of that. But what I'm saying is that the media are not demanding the same meticulous approach to real situations from economists, from finance people, from so-called industrialists, from so-called captains of industry, from the ministers responsible for those sectors. They are not asking the same questions of similar meticulous attention, which have been delivered as far as politics is concerned.
Now,
and what is happening instead, they are assisting those guys to excuse themselves by saying, well, the economy was the biggest loser at Congress, as if Congress is causing the failure of these people to deal with the real economy of Zimbabwe.
With the real economy of Zimbabwe. Now, in relation to the recently held ZANU-PF Congress,
yes,
what is the relationship between media and politics, taking into cognizance what you have just said?
Well, the media go only as far as the politicians or the so-called captains of industry have spoken, and without questioning. Because the question I'm asking you is, why are you not asking the same meticulous attention to Zimbabwe from economists, businessmen, industrialists that you are asking of the politicians?
So you're saying our media is sort of like parrots?
They are basically, for instance, the Sunday Mail of 14 December. It has this article in the business section. I fear Zimbabwe dollar return, RBZ boss. Now, that is not a policy. Fear is not a policy. Why do you allow the leader of your monetary policy to simply make a statement that says, I fear the return of the Zimbabwe dollar? So what?
So that is
not a policy.
That is what he said.
No. Precisely my point.
The media bases on what is being said out there.
But when it comes to Morgan Tsvangirai says Mugabe must go, people were able to say, what will you do if Mugabe went?
So we should, in other words, you're saying the media should go a step further to go in an in-depth analysis.
Talk about processes and the meaning of processes. It's not just events. Fear is the product of terrorism. And we were terrorized financially. And the RBZ governor is still talking about, I fear the return of the... That is not policy. We want leadership. The same leadership in the RBZ, Ministry of Finance, in industry, that we are getting from the politicians. Because these politicians made decisions based on observations made over a long period of time throughout the country. Where is the equivalent? Where is the economic equivalent? Where is the finance equivalent? Where is the industry equivalent? Where is the business equivalent? We don't see it.
As we speak, Doctor, a cabinet reshuffle was just done by His Excellency, Comrade Robert Mugabe.
Yes.
And he also appointed 2 new vice presidents.
Yes.
What is your comment?
My comment is that all those decisions are quite convincing, because the president looked at real events, real conduct, real people on the ground.
What do you mean, Doctor?
And these are people on the ground that have emerged and have taken over cabinet. Now, I'm saying those who have been given the assignments now for fiscal policy, for finance policy, for industrial policy, must learn from Congress. They should not give us generalities about FDI, about what the IMF is thinking. We know what the IMF is thinking. What's happening in Muzarabani economically? What's happening in Muzi economically? What's happening in Menezi economically? We want that.
Let's just take a short break in the
Because
studio.
the politicians have told us what's happening in Menezi. We want the economists now to translate that into economics.
We'll be back with Dr. Mahoso after this short break.
Are you an independent producer? A content provider, maybe? If your answer is yes, and you have an idea you'd like to develop, then this is your opportunity to showcase your talent. ZBC is inviting you to submit your concepts and content for television in the following areas: reality shows, game shows, talk shows, drama series, children's programming, youths, adults, young adults, and magazine shows. The concept should include the following: title of concept, genre of program, target audience, synopsis, treatment, and contact details. You can submit your concepts to ZBC Pocket Hill, Harare, or Montreal Studios, Bulawayo, or alternatively send via our email platform commissioning@zbc.co.zw. For all inquiries, call Jessina Kuana on 0772 653 179, Solomon Kabasa on 0777 441 839, our Harare number 498637, or Bulawayo number 460348, and talk to Nkosana Buma on 0772 919 003.